guys, Iola here from Muscle Management Services. I am here laying on my massage table at my studio. Today we are gonna do a little bit of different session. I actually wanted to do a little bit more of a personal vlog, and it was inspired by my video on prenatal massage, and it really had me thinking about my pregnancy. For those of you who don't know, I had my daughter in 2008. She's going to be 9 this year, and I really feel for a lot of mothers, especially when I meet first time mothers and they feel like there's a lot of information that people didn't tell them. Um, so I just wanted to put it out there and share with expecting moms and mothers, parents out there, or kind of like some real stuff on like what to expect, just from my perspective. And one thing that I encourage every pregnant woman to know and understand is that every person's experience is different. So what I experienced may not be what you experience, but it's good to know like all the possibilities. And for me, when I got pregnant in 2008, I was looking at like TLC baby story, and I feel like it misled a lot of people by the way they cut it. That and like the moms, I guess they didn't want to seem like they were complaining, but they were like all seeming like perfectly fine, like they were coping 100%, and like they just bounced back. They just had a baby, bounced back, and jumped up on like back to reality, back to life, and baby life was like all full of energy and stuff. And I just know I felt like really misled and betrayed when I had my daughter, and it was actually like really depressing that I felt like I went through all this stuff and no one warned me. Okay, so I'm gonna start blabbing on. So I got pregnant, and I had a pretty good pregnancy because I just finished massage school, and I didn't really have to work. So I had good a really good, like, comfortable lifestyle. Like, I didn't have to work through my pregnancy, so I got a lot of rest. I was able to sleep and really get maintain like a sense of happiness. As far as gaining weight, I gained like 25 pounds. So at 6 months, I only gained 10 pounds. And I'm just not a foodie. I don't overeat. Even though I felt like I was hungry more often, I was still very careful when I put into my body. Like, I tried to eat like burgers a little bit more often than I used to. Um, but I think a lot of women put in the back of their head like they have to eat for two, and that wasn't my perspective, because my thing is like I wanted my body back when I had my daughter, and I was like praying, and I was just like, I can have this baby, but I really want my stomach to be flat again. Like, I really want to bounce back to like my original pre-pregnancy weight. So at 6 months I gained 10 pounds. My doctor was kind of worried. He was just like, you really need to gain 10 more pounds before your daughter gets here. And I did gain the weight, and it was all her. So I had like a basketball belly. um, and like I said, I just ate when I was hungry. I didn't overeat, and I made sure I tried to eat healthy. So I didn't, eat things that I typically didn't use to eat just for the heck of it, just for gaining weight purposes. Um, so the night my daughter actually came 2 weeks earlier than expected, but early. It was actually her dad's 30th birthday when my water broke, and we took a nap before we were going out to the party, and we were going to like a local restaurant, and I woke up, and the dog, we had a boxer, the dog barked, my water broke, and my daughter's father was upstairs, like, I think he was like vomiting or something. Anyway, my daughter said she was coming into this world, and she sent out shock waves. The dog was like, I think the dog actually threw up. It was like really crazy, like this weird energy like happened. So my water broke like right before we were ready to go to the party, and so I changed my pants like 3 times, because all right, disclaimer for anybody who has a weak stomach, shut it down right now, because I am the TMI of all TMIers, so I'm gonna get a little bit graphic. um So it's just like mucus, like water. Like if you ever like throw up and it's like the bile, like if you drink water and you threw up the water, that's basically what it is. It's like water with like a little bit of slime in it. So I changed my pants like 2, 3 times, and I was like, we're gonna go to this party. I'm not having contractions. And before then, I felt like I was having like a little bit of Braxton Hicks throughout the day, and it felt like a little bit of cramps. Like if for any woman who are out there, you have cramps, or for anybody who doesn't have a uterus, if you ever think about like if you get a stomach virus, and you know those little pangs you get right before you have to like run to the bathroom. So that's what the Braxton Hicks labor pain feels like. And then true labor feels like, you know, when your body is like trying to expel all of that waste out like right now. That's what contractions feel like for anyone who's interested in what it feels like. It's like very strong, very intense. For me, it wasn't enough to make me cry, but it makes you stop what you're doing and makes you want to get in fetal position because it's like it hits you. So my water broke maybe like around 6, and then so we went to the restaurant. A couple of friends met us, and I was like, guys, guess what, my water broke. They was like, oh my god, get to the hospital. I was like, I'm fine, I haven't started having contractions yet, so let's just have the party. So we had the party. I didn't stay too long. So like around 10 o'clock, we left. And from the restaurant, the hospital was half an hour away. I already had my bags packed and everything, so we were ready to go. And so then we get to the hospital and we check in, and literally there for like a half hour or hour, and my contractions start. And like I just said, it hits you like diarrhea. So for me, direction I had to contractions were I vomited, and then everything that was in my like into my digestive tract came out like up and down. So I had to take a couple of trips to the bathroom. I actually wanted to have a natural birth, but closer to the time, I spoke to some other friends who were parents, and they were saying, don't rule it out. So when I got to the hospital, the nurses asked, do you want to have an epidural? I said, I'm going to try to stay away for it as long as I can, but I don't want to rule it out. So I just explained to them, like, there's probably a strong possibility I would take it, but I want to just go as long as I can handle the contractions for. So about 5 hours into having contractions, I was like, where is the anesthesiologist? I need this epidural. It was so intense. It was just so intense, so uncomfortable. And I know what they say, like the epidural slows down your labor and delivery. And I really feel like it did, but I just needed like peace. Like it's just so intense. All right, so then let's fast forward. My daughter, her umbilical cord was wrapped around her neck. So she was in a little bit of stress. And so they plug you up to monitors. And for her, I think they actually put something inside of me to track her heartbeat or something, so that we can like kind of track how I'm dilating and how she was doing. So I had gotten the epidural by then, and because I stayed calm, my daughter stayed calm, and we avoided a C-section. Like that was the one thing I didn't want. So I think the midwife and the nurses kind of saw that I wasn't panicking, and my daughter was okay. She wasn't panicking, so that they just monitored me really closely. It was kind of interesting. Like I think the midwife at some point to like feel the middle, like how severe the umbilical cord wrappers were. It's like she stuck like her whole hand up me. That's so crazy. But just to kind of like get in there and figure out what's going on. So yeah, that might happen. Hopefully it doesn't happen to you. But just know, you never think that somebody is actually gonna do that to you. But it happened for me. It's kind of embarrassing. I don't care. Um, so, all right. So I guess you could say I started labor like at 6 o'clock on a Friday night, and then my daughter was delivered at 9:42 the next morning. So it's a pretty long labor, but I've heard of longer. Another thing I feel like they don't tell women is that like your water breaks and you have to take off all your clothes, your underwear, and put on your like hospital gown, and there's stuff coming out of you the whole time. Like I just think no one mentions that. It's just something for you to know. Like they have the little pad there, like kind of like a pee pad for the little dogs you get. So you have to change that once in a while because like there's blood and all kinds of stuff coming out of there. And until you have the baby, that's just something that you have to deal with. So if you're getting up and going to the bathroom, it's like an interesting situation to have all of that coming out of you. It's kind of weird. So yeah, my daughter came, and for our situation, since her umbilical cord was wrapped around her neck, they used a suction on the top of her head to like help me push, and help get her out. So I did 3 sets of 3. So it's like push, 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 and I did that 3 times. And because they have to suction the baby, basically the doctor basically helps to like yank the baby down and out really quickly because it could have been a very dangerous situation for her. Um, and when you have the epidural, you don't feel anything. So I would really encourage women, because like if you don't know how to push, it's going to be really difficult to get the baby out. But because I know how to do Kegels and I feel like I understand like my muscle down there, I was really able to understand how to push. So women, if you are pregnant, really practice your Kegels. You want to understand like how to work that muscle. And I know a tip that they give for figuring out how to do a Kegel if you're not sure is when you pee, stop your pee, and that's part of the muscle stuff that happens for your Kegels. But it's really you just squeezing your vaginal muscles and being able to like kind of control that and work that out. But it helps to understand that, trust me, because if you get into a situation like me and then you don't know how to push, it's almost like you're taking a poop and doing a Kegel at the same time. If you don't know how to push, then it's going to be kind of difficult when you have the epidural and you can't feel anything at all. Okay, so what's next? Oh, so my daughter comes out and they take her away to the little bed over, like far over in this huge room. Like I can't even see her. I think my husband at the time cut the umbilical cord and all that, but I was like kind of numb. It's just like an interesting situation, and that's probably from the epidural too. You're just kind of emotionally numb. It's a traumatic experience. I've never had a baby before, so there's a lot going on. And then my doctor wasn't my OBG. He was like another doctor, and he's down there. So you're in the stirrups, and he's down there for like a minute, and you're looking down like, what's going on? Is everything okay? And I had to get stitches because I tore. And I'm just like, all right, like how long should this take? I was like, how many stitches are there? And he was like, you really can't count stitches. But I think he was bullshitting me. I think I tore really badly because my attendant who checked me out, my OB checked me out on Monday, and he was just like, it's pretty bad. So when he's stitching me up, I was like, can you put some extra stitches in there? Like while you're down there, can you just make sure everything's okay? And another thing I want to tell a couple ladies is that if you do tear, and I know there's the option to have a episiotomy, I wasn't sure how I felt about that. Um, but if you do tear, like maybe just double check and make sure that you have a conversation with whoever's doing the stitches that they do a good job. I've seen some videos where they do like the vaginal rejuvenation. This was before YouTube took all of that stuff down. And a lot of women have to go back and get surgeries to get everything stitched back up, because if you're torn and the stitches aren't aligned properly, like your cooch is like jacked up, and it shrinks back to its natural size, which is like, human body is amazing, but if you have a doctor who doesn't think that's a priority, your sex life might change. Like we don't want to be walking around like flapping and loosey goosey. I don't know. I don't want to be insensitive, But I felt like the doctor did do a good job in the end, even though I felt like he was BSing me because I found out later on like it was a really bad tear. I was like in bad pain afterwards. Okay, so I had my daughter, and they wheel you off to the room. They take the baby to get all her stitches and vaccines and stuff. So my mom advised me to like wait and tell them to wait to give her shots. So we waited until she was 3 months to get her vaccinations, and I felt a little safe with that advice, because when they're born, you're not quite sure what's going on with their health. Vaccines are tested and all that, but for me, medicine is case by case. So things that work for that other baby who's in a case study may not work for my child, and I just want to have a little bit of precaution. So they didn't give her shots right away. She did have like a little cone shape on the top of her head. My daughter's name is Cameron, by the way. The top of her head because of the suction. And I've seen like my cousin had that done too, and her son, oh my gosh, his head was like kind of oddly shaped for a while. For my daughter, I think it took like 3 months for it to not have that like weird indentation shape. And I gave her like little scalp massages when she was a baby to kind of like made sure everything grew a little properly. What did I want to tell you? So my partner, because my daughter came early, we had like, we didn't go grocery shopping. We weren't like, our plan wasn't in place because we weren't expecting her to come so early. So he actually spent the first night that I was in the hospital away. I'm not 100% sure about how I feel like it now looking back. So, the next thing, they give you Percocets. So they give you Percocets while you're in the hospital. So you feel amazing. You feel like kind of like normal. Like you feel like you went through something, but you feel normal. When I left the hospital, the Percocets stopped. And that was like a slap in the face. When I got home and the last Percocet I took wore off, yo, it was different, way different. And I wish someone would have told me that, like, when you leave the hospital, it's a whole different world, like, as far as pain management. So what I did when I got home was it took me like 4 days to figure out this, and I had to call a nurse. And because I was just like, I'm in pain, like, it's just, so when your Motrin or Tylenol, whatever pain medicine they're gonna give you, when it starts to wear off, like you have to have taken the last pill ahead of time so that it would start working when the last pill wore off. So for me, I had to start keeping a diary. Like 10:58, I took one pill, count 4 hours ahead, 4 hours down, and write down the next time that I would have to take my next pill. And once I figured that out and started to get on that schedule, I felt so much better, especially when on the second day your milk comes in. So, that is like a huge thing that I wish someone would have prepared me for, the pain, especially if you had like a tear like mine's. It was just so uncomfortable, and that the betrayal that I felt like from looking at the baby stories where the moms like they just popped out this baby and then walking around and making baby bottles. I was just like, no. I was like, I don't feel like that. I feel like uncomfortable. Like I was just out of sorts. I've never been to the hospital before that. I've never had to stay in a hospital. I've never gone to the emergency room before that. And I consider myself lucky. So to have to deal with like that amount of pain and pain management was like really new to me. It's like a blessing that I hadn't been to the hospital, but then it's just like, your first experience with it and having a whole child come out of you. Oh my gosh, that was a lot. So another thing that I wanted to talk to you guys is that because you're swollen down there, they give you like these ice maxi pads while you're in the hospital to kind of like get the swelling down. And they don't give you extras. So ask for extras of those, especially if you have a tear, because you definitely want you're going to be bleeding. So, your uterus is contracting. So you're going to be bleeding for a while your uterus contracts. And another thing that I wanted to mention is on day 2, your milk starts to come in. And for me, it was really, really painful. I don't know if other women experience a lot of pain, but I'm like an A cup. Like my breasts are really small. And I'm really in tune with my body. So I could feel like the tingling coming from my spine and kind of like where your bra strap is, like, and like just stuff occurring, like coming around, coming down into like my pectoral area where your breast is. I felt like I had a migraine in my chest. That's how it felt when my milk was coming in. I've never experienced anything like that before. So make sure you're on your pain medicine if you are concerned about the pain. I feel like women who have a little bit more storage, so you have a little bit more breast tissue, I don't think it'll be as painful. But for me, in my experience, I was just like, that actually was worse than delivery. The milk and the breastfeeding, and the first time my daughter latched on while I was in the hospital, thank goodness I had like a girlfriend who came to visit me. Shout out to Tiana. Oh my gosh, I almost dropped my daughter. Don't try breastfeeding by yourself with your child. Oh, I almost dropped my daughter, because then what happens is when they latch on, it makes your uterus contract, because breastfeeding will actually make your belly get small. So when I breastfed my daughter, like 3 months later, I just had a teeny tiny little extension on my belly. Like it didn't look like I had a child because I breastfed her. But the first time it happened, I got a contraction. It felt like a full blown in labor contraction. So beware, have somebody there to help you. Hey guys, so I am back. I actually had a client and then I had to go get my daughter from school. So this is my daughter, the one who I was talking about before. It was giving me all that trouble to come out of my body. So what's your name?
My name is Cameron.
I wanted to come back and talk about a couple of other topics. One topic that I wanted to share is that I have Raynaud's disorder, which is like an autoimmune disorder that typically is known for reacting to the cold. But most people who have it, the phenomenon, and it's not the syndrome, which is connected to another autoimmune disorder, um, pretty much react to it whenever your body is feeling abnormal. So after I had Cammy, again, after Cammy, I got home, I was feeling really, really cold. Like the heat was like up to like 100 degrees. And I thought that it was just really cold, but I didn't realize that the autoimmune disorder was triggering in an extreme way. So, for anybody out there who suffers from an autoimmune disorder, typically trauma, but more specifically, pregnancy or childbirth may activate some of your symptoms. Some of your symptoms. So, just something to be aware of. Um, Other than that, for another message for like partners, so mommy's partners out there, just be as supportive as you can. I think there are a lot of sensitive partners out there, and for you ladies who have those, like, congratulations, and I commend you for having that. For me, I felt like a support system around me who kind of understood my symptoms, like in the first week of recovering from pregnancy, and it was really hard for me, and it was actually kind of traumatizing. I'm trying to think back to see if I had like a little postpartum depression, but yeah, it's really hard to come home and you're not feeling really well, and for people to expect you to feel normal. And I think I had that from like my mom and sister and my husband at the time, and it was just I kind of felt like no one understood what I was going through. So, as far as partners out there, just try your best to talk about the feelings and just consider that it's just an unwell feeling. It's not necessarily a lot of pain, but your body just went through like one of the most magical things it could possibly go through, which is delivering such cutesy little babies. But yeah, it's a big deal. What's up?
I was gonna say / not husband anymore.
Right. So my husband at the time / not husband anymore, right?
Wait, one
What
more
else?
thing.
What up? What's up?
My mom is gonna tell me the rest of the story when I'm 18, but in the future, I'm 18 because I'm 8, and she never told me yet.
But she wants to know why her dad and I divorced.
I want to know.
I told her that we just couldn't be good friends anymore. So
That's not the whole
it's a
story.
good lesson to learn. Like if your friends aren't being nice to you, even husbands, sometimes you have to say we're not friends anymore. But anyway, that's the end of my pregnancy story. Hopefully I didn't traumatize too many of you, but I hope you enjoy your little new babies. They become so much more fun when they get older. Look how cute she is. She's such a sweetie. Cameron, say goodbye.
Bye. But just one more thing I would like to say.
What's up?
Everybody. So, I'm going to move. Mommy, can I please?
What?
So I would really like to say, but I want to jump to the holidays. I'm not trying to break any of your hearts here. Just to know, Santa is not real. But you don't have to believe me if you don't want to, because I know some kids they believe in Santa. And the Tooth Fairy is also not real. But just to know, you don't have to believe me like I said with Santa. I know some children or people don't believe that the Tooth Fairy is real and Santa is real. Just so you know, you don't have to listen to me if you don't want to. Even though I'm cute, you don't have to listen to me.
She needs an acting job, right? Yeah, we had a conversation about lies. So I think when she was like 4 or 5, we had a conversation about Santa and the Tooth Fairy because I didn't want to lie to her anymore. So I just wanted her to know, like, from now on, we would be telling the truth to each other. So
Liar.
Well, I'm no longer. I've recovered.
So you used to be a liar.
So I was trying to teach Cam about, always speaking truth. But okay, guys, thank you so much. And also, the reason I'm doing this video is because I did my prenatal massage video, and I wanted to kind of talk more about the pregnancy stuff just because I felt like it was a pretty big deal for me. So if you haven't seen the prenatal massage video and you are having a baby, go check it out. I think I did an okay job for me not being a videographer and all. And then like, comment, and let me know what you think about it. Bye, guys.
Wait. Just to know, I love all of you out there. And you have a big heart. So remember that and stand up for yourself. If jerks be mean to me, don't listen to them.
Are you allowed to say jerks?
Don't listen to them.
Yeah, grow patience. If you don't have children already, they require a lot of patience. And love. Bye, guys.
Mwah.
Remember to like, share, and comment. Please let me know if you would like more videos like this so I can create more content for you. Thanks so much for watching.